The Deathly Hallows are three legendary, magical and powerful objects. We witness the Hallows throughout the 7 Harry Potter books, especially the last book, which focus more on them, as it was named itself the Deathly Hallows. In today's video, I'll be explaining the creation and origins of the 3 Deathly Hallows, when and who they were possessed by, and all the way down to their destruction and fate. The Deathly Hallows were created by Death himself to the 3 Peverell brothers after they successfully crossed the river, the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. The 3 legendary objects together grants the one who unites them the title of Master of Death. Let's start with the Elder Wand. It is said to be the most powerful wand that had ever existed, able to perform feats of magic that would normally be impossible even for the most skilled wizards. The Elder Wand's core is the tail hair of a Distrol. The brother Eniok didn't possess the Elder Wand for very long. After killing a rival wizard in a duel shortly after creating the wand, Eniok was murdered in his sleep that night, and another wizard took possession of the wand. Over time, this powerful and mysterious wand passed through various hands, usually by violent means. Many owners were killed by their successors in a desire for power, and over time it was well known that murder is necessary in order to gain mastery of the Elder Wand. The wand was passed through many wizards after Eniok Peverell, until at one point during the 19th century, the Elder Wand came into the possession of wand maker Mikhail Grigorovich. Upon realizing that it was the most powerful wand in existence, Grigorovich spent many years experimenting to try and duplicate his powers. Sometime between 1899 and 1926, Grigorovich ran inside his workshop and saw that someone had taken the wand, a blonde-haired young man, who promptly shot a standing spell at Grigorovich to acquire mastery of the wand before jumping out of the window. That boy was Gellert Grindelwald, was one of the most dangerous dark wizards of all time. He was educated at Durmstrang Institute, but was later expelled, and following his explosion, he lived with his aunt in the village Godric's Hollow. Later he struck up a friendship with a young Albus Dumbledore, and the two made plans to find the Deathly Hallows. They believed that possessing the Hallows would allow them to create a world for the greater good. This partnership fell apart after the two were involved in a 3-way duel with Albus' brother Aberforth, which resulted in an accident, death of his sister Ariana. Over the years, Grindelwald raised an army and began the terror that spread through several countries. In 1945, Dumbledore finally felt forced to confront his former friend. Despite Grindelwald's mastery of the Elder Wand, as well as putting up a fight, Dumbledore defeated him in what became known as a legendary duel. The mastery of the Elder Wand passed to Dumbledore after that. Under his ownership, the wand was largely used for good. Unlike many of its former masters, Dumbledore performed great magic with this wand, furthering his reputation as the world's most powerful wizard. In 1997, when Dumbledore and Harry returned from the cave to Hogwarts after searching for one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, the Death Eaters had found a way to get into Hogwarts. When Draco Malfoy arrived, he disarmed Dumbledore. The wand flew from Dumbledore's hands over the ground. After Draco hesitated in attempting the murder, Severus Snape appeared and performed the killing curse on Dumbledore himself. Since Dumbledore was disarmed and was defeated by Draco, Malfoy thus became the next master of the Elder Wand. The wand was later put in Dumbledore's grave after his death. Later on, Voldemort came to know of the Elder Wand's existence upon hearing the wand's legendary powers. In order to secure his desire as the ultimate wizard in the world, which he believed would make him invincible, Voldemort broke into Dumbledore's grave and took the wand, which had been buried with its former master. However, Voldemort didn't know at all that Dumbledore had been disarmed by Draco. He believed that Snape was the true owner of the wand, after he realized the wand was not living up to its full potential, not taking into account the fact that Draco had disarmed Dumbledore before Snape killed him. As a result, Voldemort got his snake and Horcrux Nagini to murder Snape. He believed he was now the Elder Wand's true master, but in the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry revealed to Voldemort that the wand had not belonged to Snape but to Draco, and Harry had taken Draco's wand by force and defeated him at Malfoy Manor, making Harry the new master of the Elder Wand. Only in his final encounter with Harry at the Battle of Hogwarts, Voldemort used the Elder Wand to cast his final killing curse against Harry's, and because the wand's allegiance was to Harry, Voldemort's spell backfired and killed him once and for all. In the movies, Harry broke the wand into half and threw it away, believing it would never be found and nobody will ever use it again. In the books, Harry told Dumbledore's portrait that he would place the Elder Wand back in Dumbledore's grave, and when Harry died a natural death, the wand's power would be broken as Dumbledore had intended. The second Hallow is the Resurrection Stone. It was first owned by Cadmus Peverell, the middle brother. At one point, he was placed into a gold setting and made into a ring. The ring was an heirloom of descendant of Salazar Slytherin himself. The ring continued to be passed down the family line, eventually ended up in the hands of the Gaunt family, aka Voldemort family. The ring was taken from Morphine Gaunt by Voldemort himself when he returned to Little Hangleton to seek out his family. Voldemort took the ring with him back to Hogwarts after freeing Morphine for the murders of the Riddle family, and later used the murder of his father, Tom Riddle Sr. by the Killing Curse to turn the ring into his Horcrux. After that, he lost interest in wearing it any longer and chose to return it to the very place he had stolen it from, the Gaunt Shack. He placed the stone inside a golden box and hid it beneath the shack's floorboards. He did set up many protective enchantments to prevent outsiders from entering the shack and finding the stone, which was inside the ring. In 1996, Albus Dumbledore continued investigating Riddle's obsession with immortality and suspected correctly that Riddle had created up to 6 Horcruxes. Dumbledore traveled to Little Hangleton and found the remains of the shack, hidden amongst many weeds and brush. Dumbledore discovered the golden box holding the ring beneath the shack's floorboards. However, Dumbledore recognized the symbol of the Deathly Hallows on the ring's black stone and recognized it as the Resurrection Stone, something for which Dumbledore had searched for the greater part of his life. It was Dumbledore's big plan with Grindelwald to collect the Deathly Hallows. After Dumbledore returned to Hogwarts, he used Godric's Gryffindor sword to crack the Resurrection Stone so as to destroy it as a Horcrux. As long as Dumbledore didn't use the Resurrection Stone, he thought of someone else who could use it at the exact right moment, Harry. Before his death at Snape's hands, Dumbledore magically sealed the cracked Resurrection Stone inside the snake that Harry had caught as his first ever Quidditch match by accidentally swallowing it. Dumbledore wrote, "I opened the close," to indicate that he would only open and yield the Resurrection Stone when Harry was about to accept death at the hands of Voldemort. After Dumbledore's death, Rufius Scrimgeour delivered the snake to Harry, along with other possessions left to Ron and Hermione. Immediately before he surrendered it to Voldemort, Harry placed the snake to his lips and whispered, "I'm about to die," and it opened. Harry then used the Resurrection Stone to bring back the spirits of James, Lily, Sirius, and Remus. They comforted Harry as he walked toward his supposed death. Harry dropped the Resurrection Stone in the Forbidden Forest. Then the stone was pressed into the earth and would never be found again. The third Hallow is the Invisibility Cloak. It's a magical artifact used to make the wearer invisible. The Invisibility Cloak was the only Hallow known to have been successfully passed down from generation to generation through the Peverell family line. In the 20th century, the cloak eventually ended up in the hands of Henry Potter, who passed it to his elder son, Flamont. Flamont was the father of James Potter, Harry Potter's father. James used the Invisibility Cloak in many times of his years at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and kept it afterwards. Around the time the Law of Voldemort was hunting the Potters for their son, the Invisibility Cloak came to the attention of Albus Dumbledore when James showed him the cloak. Dumbledore, who had searched for the Deathly Hallows in youth, asked to borrow the cloak from James to study it. After James was killed, the cloak was left in Dumbledore's possession. 10 years later, Dumbledore gave Harry the Invisibility Cloak as a Christmas present and told him to use it well. This would be one piece of advice that Harry would use quite well over his school life and beyond, as the Invisibility Cloak helped Harry on countless trips and missions during his years at Hogwarts, including his hunt for Lord Voldemort Horcruxes. It was until 1998 that Harry learned the true nature of his own Invisibility Cloak and its true identity, as spoken of in the Legend of the Deathly Hallows. As the last remaining descendant, the cloak was rightfully Harry's and was kept by him after Lord Voldemort's defeat. Harry resolved to pass it on to his children one day, just as his ancestors had done. Harry gave James Sirius the cloak as a present, and it continued to be in his possession until some unknown point.